right, so if you're listening for the first time, please subscribe, like, and share this interview. We really appreciate this to get this out to more people. So thanks so much. Vicki Le Mere back on the program, and we're grateful to have her on. I told everyone that it won't be the first time she's on. No, I got that wrong. We'll edit that out. Vicki Le Mere back on the program. I told everyone the first time she was on that it won't be the last. And she, she's back on the program. So, Vicki, thanks so much for coming on. And we talked about the book last time, and I do want to tease that before we get you to talk in here in just a second. It's Saving Face. It's Vicki Le Mere, Lemere. So definitely check it out if you want the book. A lot of good stuff on there. It talks about her life story and everything else in the kitchen sink. So Vicki, thanks so much for coming back on again. And we look forward to keep having you on as a returning guest.
Oh, thank you, Rob. I love being here. You're so cute. And my name is spelled, it's two words, Le Mere, Lemere, just so you guys know.
Yeah, just in case. And we do hope that people look into the book. It's on Amazon. Check it out. So hopefully you subscribe to the podcast, then you go and get the book. That's the objective of the interview. And we get a good interview out of this, as always. But Vicki, let's talk about this. We talked about your modeling career. You do have an acting career. But one thing I found very fascinating about your story, which has a lot of fascinating tidbits to it, is that you were a private eye for about 7 years. Talk to the viewers a little bit about that.
Well, it's a very interesting job. A lot of people might not know that, it's not the most positive work in the world. I guess it's kind of like being a police officer. You're always looking for trouble. And as a private investigator, you're always looking for trouble. You're looking for somebody to mess up. So I was selling eyeglass frames when I got to Los Angeles. And I think I was getting it $100 a week cash, which definitely wasn't enough to live on. So my friend, my acting friend, told me about his sister did this job where, she went to restaurants and she would eat there, and then she would make a little report on it, and she would get free food, free drinks. And I said, wow, that's the kind of work I'd like to do, So I started with this company, and it was great because, I got a lot of free meals and I could always take a friend with me. So and I'm not much of a drinker though, so I had to keep ordering drinks, but I would just dump them because, I had to see, basically watch the bartender. Was he putting the money in his tip jar, or was he ringing it up and if he wasn't ringing it up, I had to get the ring before and the ring after I was there so that they could look at the tape to prove. So anyway, it was basically about really getting people fired, It wasn't like the most positive job in the world, especially that part of it, And then I did a lot of background investigation, like people going through a divorce. So I would go downtown and go to all the federal buildings and the local municipal courthouses, look up the microfiche. In those days, they didn't have computers. And so, I would have to look through all the records. And that was interesting. And we did surveillance. I mean, we followed quite a few people. I don't know if I told you the story about going to San Diego and the lady's house. Do you remember?
No, I don't.
So we were hired by this lady to do, her husband was having an affair with this woman in San Diego. She lived in Los Angeles. So she wanted to find out two things. It was crazy. It was this was our assignment. Find out what color hair product she uses and when was she coming to Los Angeles. So that's what we had to find out. So, I kind of was good at thinking of ways to do things. And so I took this, I have to call him a dumb boyfriend with me. He was my agent partner.
Right.
And so we got to her apartment, found her apartment. Her name was Laura. And I rang the doorbell and I go, hi, is Jane there? And she said, Jane? I said, is this Jane Millman's apartment? And she goes, no. I said, oh my God, would it be okay if I used your phone? And she said, sure, and she rang us in. Of course, in those days, people weren't so
Right.
suspicious. We're talking 30 years ago or 40 years ago. So she let us in her apartment. So now we're in the apartment, and I'm like, we're talking. And I go, oh, you've been so nice. I said, what color? I love your hair color. What do you use on it? It's really, and she goes, oh, Claire, such and such, number. And so I get the color of her hair color, which is the one first thing I was supposed to get. And then secondly, I said, you've been so nice. If whenever you're coming to Los Angeles, I'll give you my number. Why don't you give me a call? I'll take you out to lunch. And so she said, okay. Now she never told me her name at this point. So then I turned around to her. I said, thank you, Laura. And she goes, how did you know my name was Laura? And I was like, I was going to say, I saw it on the envelope or something. But at that moment, this dumb ass that I'm with bolts for the door. So now I have to bolt for the door. So we're running. We're just both running down the street, getting out of there. Because here we have this poor woman and we've left her. I found out when she's coming to Los Angeles because she told me next weekend. And I found out the hair color, but he blew my cover because I could have bullshitted, my way out of there. But so we're both end up running and I go, why did you run? I was so mad at him. But anyway, that was a case where we got the information, but it was this poor woman probably called the police because these people were in my apartment and they knew my name. So I don't think she figured out that we were like dumbass private investigators. But yeah, that's
what happened after that? Nothing. The woman obviously, I guess, paid you, and then that was the end of it.
Oh, she paid the company. That she got the information that the hair color and that the woman was coming on the next weekend to Los Angeles. I guess she was having her husband followed, but she knew he was having an affair with this woman. But I guess she figured if she could dye her hair the same color, maybe she'd be able to keep them, so she was keeping track of them. But we followed some famous people like Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys.
Mm-hmm.
We were hired to, I don't know if we should say that, but we were hired by his doctor to find out, if the caregiver was taking care of him properly.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. But at that time he was really out of it. He was, I think at his lowest point, because he would be walking outside and going, tree, and then he would try to play his music and he would get one cent. Oh, West Coast girls are hip. And he'd start over again. It was sad.
It's sad, yeah.
It was sad.
You just, obviously Christmas just ended. We're into New Year's now. And with that said, obviously with the Christmas season, you working in the jewelry business is a very, very big season for that. So talk about your jewelry business, how it started, and then if you want to elaborate a little bit about, the seasons that it's very busy, maybe not busy. Just give us all the nits and crannies about it.
Yes, I would love to do that. So when I came here to Hollywood, I was hoping to work as an actress, took acting classes, and I was doing the eyeglasses, and then I was doing the private investigating. But I got a part. One of the gentlemen that was in my acting class was an AD on a movie in Las Vegas called Blackjack. And he said, if you can get your ass to Las Vegas, I think I can get you a part. And we can tell the SAG that we're looking for like an actress with a French look, you know. And so they were able to do that for me. And I got my SAG card like within the first 2 years
Wow.
that I was here. And I was like, wow, this is great. You know, I'm gonna be and then I got this I don't know if I talked about this before, about the part that was like it was a takeoff of Saturday Night Fever.
I don't believe so, but
Yeah, it was called Joe and Valerie, and it was, you know, takeoff from Saturday Night Fever. And I had I was actually background dancing, but I was such a great dancer. I sort of made a determination. They're going to see me dancing. They're going to give me a part, and I'm going to get a lead. And that's what happened. And then I got my after card, which, you know, is for television.
mhm.
So, but in the meantime, you know, the jobs were few and far between. And I was just like, oh, I got to figure out a different way to make a living, because this isn't working too good.
Yeah, well,
You
it's
know,
tough.
one
Yeah,
day a month is not enough.
no.
So I was buying some pins for my sisters for Christmas. And my girlfriend had a little store, and she was selling them for $15. And they were like those big pins that Michael Jackson used to wear.
Yeah.
You know, back in the 80s, I guess the late 80s. And so she said, you know, Vicki, you can go downtown and buy these from my friend. She made them for $5. And so I went down and I got a bunch of pins, and I could sell them for 15. You know, I was like tripling my money. I was going, this is great. So I set up a little briefcase, you know, and I used to like, you know, from the stuff I bought from her, I'd set it up on a velvet thing. And so when I was like waiting for my food, I would open it up and pretend I was rearranging things, you know. And of course the waitress, oh, what's that? What do you got there? You know, wow, you know, of course, anything that sparkles, women love. You know? It doesn't matter if it's real. And it's, oh, can I buy? Can I get? Oh, yeah, sure, you can buy. So I started doing this at the bank. Wherever I went, I just accidentally opened the briefcase, you know, pretending my money was. I was selling out every week. So then I
Wow.
went back downtown one day, and she said, you know, I just fulfilled this big order with this chain of stores called Contemporary Casuals.
Mm.
Have all these parts left and stuff. And would you like to buy what I have left? Just the stones and all the parts. And she gave me all her glues and all her tools.
Wow.
And, you know, and so basically I just, for, I think it was $1,000, I got all this stuff, probably worth close, you know, much more than that.
Much more.
Yeah. And so then I started making jewelry, and I taught myself, and one day I was sitting in my office putting stuff, and I looked at the clock. It was 2 a.m. and I went, what? I was having so much fun. I was like a little girl, like a kid in a candy store, you know, with making jewelry. And it just became, you know, and then I became very creative about it, and I had my own designs. I found a caster that would cast the pieces for me, and then I would set the stones.
Mm.
And I started selling. I got a little store on this very trendy street called Melrose Avenue. And I would sit there and make my stuff, and I have customers come in. I had a lot of famous customers come in, like, now I can't think of the names. Well, Chrissy from Three's Company,
Mhm.
and Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
What's her name?
I honestly don't know. I know the shows. I know the people that you're
Yeah,
speaking about, but I don't know
yeah,
their
and
names.
then I worked in another store one day a week. I told her, and it was in a very exclusive area up on Mulholland, you know, where all the stars live. And
Sure.
Priscilla Presley bought my stuff, and Joni Mitchell, and Natalie Cole. So I had a lot of famous people buy my designs. So it was really quite exciting. And then I sold to all the major department stores here, to Macy's, Bullock's, Magnin. I had 7 Saks Fifth Avenue stores at one time. They were carrying my stuff on consignment. But, you know, so it was such a coup, because, you know, here I was this little person, and I was doing everything. I was designing, making it, and selling it. Because when I hired people to help me, they would mess it up and they would get glue on the stones, and then the stones wouldn't shine anymore. So I just,
Do it yourself. Yeah.
because of that, I didn't grow my business very much. And then there came a point where I stopped making it because I could buy things cheaper than I could make them. And I just started like importing them and, selling them. And that's basically where I'm at today. And I have other things too. I sell scarves and belts and accessories, basically accessories.
But are you making these like belts and scarves, or?
No, I'm buying them.
Oh.
I buy them wholesale and sell them.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, you've done all these different things. We haven't even touched really the surface, honestly, of all the things that you've done, but excuse me, that's why we do more of these shows to keep people coming back and learning more about these people that we do bring on. Again, Vicki Le Mere on Fire Breathing Rob. Definitely check out the book for people that are just tuning in, Saving Face. It's on Amazon to check it out. But, I guess we should say leaving because I want to edit that. So leaving our second interview, Vicki, together, what do you hope that the viewers learn from this conversation? Because we did talk about a few different topics.
Yeah, I would say never give up. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up on your creativity. My mother told me I wasn't creative when I was little, and it kind of stunted my creativity until I sat there making stuff and came up with designs out of my head, which is creative. I am artistic. So, and I just think everybody has things that they're good at, and just find your gift and be happy. Happiness is your right as a human being. In Buddhism, they say it is your right to be happy. So
I agree 100%. Again, Vicki Le Mere on Fire Breathing Rob, the book again. Definitely check it out, Saving Face, and on Amazon you can buy it, but you can probably find it in other bookstores and stuff too.
yes.
Vicki, it's VICKILE, and then there's a space, MERE, and again it's Saving Face. Vicki, it's always a pleasure to speak to you, and also we hope to have you on again down the road. Like we have been, and keep learning more about your life story and also the amazing things that you've done and taught other people to do.
Well, thank you, Rob. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much.